Aha! So last week I got sent by the people at Impact Soundworks an offer to try out their bit of software called Shreddage 3 Electro-Citar. Now, I was intrigued by this because I have to confess I didn't know what an Electro-Citar is, but I do now because I've looked into it. Now, it did answer a question for me because I always wondered what instrument played that introduction on Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder, and that turns out to be an Electro-Citar. Other songs, there's quite a long list of songs that do use an Electro-Citar, but the ones that particularly piqued my interest, because I know the songs I'm familiar with, I've written it down here. Well, obviously Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I just said that. That's a really distinctive sound. I always wondered what that was. That answers that question. Do It Again by Steely Dan. It Ain't Over Till It's Over, Lenny Kravitz. There's quite a bit of it in there. I've gone and listened to these songs. Flower People by Spinal Tap. Now, that's a very important one. You're getting in a bit of psychedelia there, even if it is a pastiche psychedelia, but that's what that sound is. Also, and this is the one that really interested me, and I did know this, but because I didn't know what the instrument was, it never really clicked. But Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen plays an electric sitar on that. And they're still used today because Harry Styles used it on a song called Sunflower as well. So what it was Dan Electro made them, and it's basically an electric guitar, but it's got those sitar drone strings set separately. In fact, let me put a picture of one up. So as you can see on the, I'm just looking at it here, it's got those extra sort of drone strings above the normal strings and its own separate pickup there. And you can kind of set those strings to play and vibrate, sort of resonate when the guitar's being played. And then you've got the two standard pickups on there as well. So it was kind of developed, I think the Dan Electro was like the main one that came out, but they were developed because the sitar was a very trendy sound, wasn't it, in the 60s, but it's a very difficult instrument to play it properly, so they created this electric guitar to kind of sound a bit like it, to have all these resonant strings and stuff. And so I tried out this new plugin, which you can see here, and it's quite good fun actually, and it's a really good sound. So what I've done first of all is I've put together a track, just wrote something using this instrument so you can hear what it sounds like. So here we go with a bit of psychedelic video magic to go with it. There we are, that was just a little track I wrote. I had 3 tracks of the sitar there. I had the one that's using the kind of standard neck, the kind of polyphonic thing that's just doing those kind of chordy things at the start. And then I had a lead thing. I'll show you all these in a sec, these different modes. And then it's got its own built-in effects rack, which gave you that kind of echoey ambient sound. So let me show you the interface. So this is the main page of the interface, and you've got various things in here. Obviously, this is a MIDI instrument, so I have to play it on the keyboard, which I'll do behind me here. So as you can see, it shows you the dots of where you're playing, and you've got these various different performance styles. So this is in standard mode. So that's to give you, that's just the sort of basic sound, and you've got, these are the controls here where it's volume, tone and signal that are similar to the ones that are on the guitar, and this signal one, that's the pickup selector. So this is the neck pickup, and then you can change it down to there. I think I prefer the neck pickup sound, but if it's in a mix, that's quite good. To try the other option. Now, as you probably heard in that song, and I guess this is quite a good way of trying to make it sound a bit like a real sitar to get those microtones. I played a bit with the pitch bend, which I'm going to have to just move over here because the pitch bend's at the other end of the piano. And I have to say, these samples that it's got here, that it's really realistic. I mean, not being primarily a pianist, it's, you know, probably if I got one of these real instruments, I'd fiddle about with it, I could get more of a sound, because I'm not used to playing it on the keyboard. But these samples are fantastic. They're really good quality. There's another option here where you may be or may not be able to hear it, but you can multi-track the instruments. I can really hear it in my headphones here. And it kind of gives it a stereo spread. So you've got up to 4 instruments all playing at once. And that really, in my headphones, hope you can hear it in the video, it really does make a difference. But you've got all these different options here as well. Trying to find the same chord to keep playing, but this bite option. Extra attack. I guess that's plucking it harder. Then the pitch bend range, I mean, I set that to be the minimum because you probably want, if you want to get that kind of microtonal sound, that's quite a good way of doing it. Vibrato amount, and I think you can adjust that with the modulation wheel as well. So then this performance style drop down, this gives you these different sounds like the one I was talking about before. So on the lead one, you can go into a mono lead, and what it does, it puts this kind of capo here. You can't overlap the keys when you're playing in mono because you get that kind of glitching. But if you can hear the difference, let me swap it back to standard. But by putting it, you get that more sizzly effect. Then it capos it down there when you put it on the mono lead mid. The one I actually used was the poly lead, just because it means if you overlap the keys, you don't get a sort of problem with it. No legato. This one, I think I did use this on one of them. That gives a more sitar-y sound to me. So there we are, that's the different performance styles. And what you can do, you've got also, on top of that, you've got all these different articulations. If you look on the website, there's actually some really good walkthrough videos on YouTube, linked through to YouTube. And there's a really good video that walks through all the features, so I'm not going to duplicate that. So you've got the sustain, which is the kind of default articulation. That's the one you've been hearing. Hang on, let me just check I'm on the standard, yeah. Then you've got power chord sustain, which gives you the 5th on top of the note you're playing. Then tapping. Harmonics. And this is clever, this, because it does it on the notes that will give you natural harmonics on the guitar, like the E, the D, C, but some of them, once you get higher up, you'll know if you do this on the guitar that some notes ring out more than others. Then you've got tremolo. It's very handy having that because that's a very difficult thing to, so if you've got a properly played tremolo, you get that proper sound rather than going on the keyboard like, because that never works, does it? Mute, it's like a palm muting. Power chord mute. That's for doing your power rock, innit? Get my first real. Rake. Artificial harmonics. Staccato. So basically, I'm not going to go through the rest of them, but what you can do, you've got key switches down here. It tells you which ones they are here. So you play lower down with one finger. So as you can see, it's these red keys here. And the red keys, if I press them on the keyboard, so if you want to do it while you're playing, you press those keys with your left hand, and then you can carry on playing with the right hand. I'll demonstrate briefly. Oh, I didn't know what that one was, the FX. So anyway, there you go. That's a way of, you know, you could really go into the details, but what you can do with those key switches is when you're sequencing it, you can add the key switches afterwards. That's what I do if I'm programming brass or something. You put it in the notes that you want the instrument to play, and then because they're out of the range of the instrument, you just put those key switches in, and then that changes the articulation. So within one passage, you don't have to load up various different ones to give you these different articulations. You just switch the articulations with those keystrokes in the sequencer. So you also have, let me change the view here to add the side pane. You've got all of these different presets. So the main one I used, I just used this sort of standard one for the main bit in that piece, but I used for the kind of spacey sounding bit, I think I used this ambient rhythm one, which gives you a, hang on, let me change the articulation back, that doesn't work with that. But you can do distorted, clean blues, crunchy flare, dreamy clean, funky clean, glassy chorus, Holdsworthian. Did Aaron Holdsworth play one of these? Probably did, didn't he? Introspective delay. And basically what they're doing, this took me a little while to work this out, but down the bottom here you've got this console tab, so you click on that and that gives you, so you've got the three different effects. So you've got the neck pickup and the effects there within, the bridge pickup, and then you've got the harp, which is the resonant string section. And basically you've got, under each of these, you click on them and you've got these different options. So if I click on, say, this ambient rhythms, and they're over here, so you can click on them and it gives you the different options here. So if I turn these all off, you can hear what they all do. So that's just the dry sound. So we add the chorus in, flanger, then the cabinet, and this is what really changes it. You've got all these different cabinet options here. There's loads of different options, it's great. All these different microphones, types of cabinets. Then you've got the IR verb. Again, you've got all these different drop downs, loads of different reverbs. And then the delay, which you can sync time. If you really want to get down into it, there's loads of sort of different stuff, the velocity curves, there's all kinds of things you can do on here. I've only really scratched the surface, but you can really get down to the nitty gritty. It's a very clever engine. I've never used any of their products before, and I tell you what, I would like to use their pedal steel one. I do play pedal steel, but sometimes getting it out and playing it, it might be easy to have this. So hint, if you want to send me that one, I'll do a video on that one as well, and I've probably got more of an idea about how to play that one as well. But yes, this is a really good product. I'm really pleased they asked me to do it, and it's a really nice sort of texture that you can have in your bits of music, and it immediately gives it that kind of 60s sound. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave you with that track again. just, you know, a bit more psychedelia to leave you at the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I bring out new videos 7 PM UK time every Friday, so I hope to see you next week.